Hello, I'm Emma Hammett, the founder and CEO of First Aid for Life and onlinefirstaid.com. One of the questions I quite often get asked is, how do you prioritise at a major incident? What on earth do you do when there are multiple casualties? Well, the most important thing is to make sure that you're safe. So if there are multiple casualties, then something fairly major has happened. So before you rush in, start by taking a deep breath. So take a deep breath, look around you. That calming element is really important. So take that breath, look around you and assess quickly whether there is still danger around. If you become injured, then you're not going to be able to help anyone. So your safety is of paramount importance. Once you have established that there is no further danger, then you need to prioritise quickly. Don't go straight for the noisy ones, because the noisy ones quite clearly have an airway and they are able to breathe. So your initial priorities is anyone that is quiet. And you want to go over very quickly and establish whether or not they are conscious or unconscious and whether or not they are breathing. So really important to work that out quickly. And you do that by speaking to them. And if they don't respond when you speak to them, pinch them gently or tap them on the shoulders. And speak to them in a nice reassuring manner because they're likely to be scared. And there may as well be people that are pretending to be dead for their own safety. So do tell them that you are there to help and find out quickly whether or not they are conscious or unconscious. If they are not responding, you then need to tilt the head, lift their chin to clear the airway, right back for an adult, just a horizontal for a baby, and then you would put your cheek above their mouth and nose, look down their body, and you look, you listen, and you feel the breath on your cheek to see if they're breathing. If they are unconscious and they are breathing, then you would put them into the recovery position. If they're unconscious and not breathing, then you would be doing CPR. Now, in a major incident, you also need to be aware of other elements. Now, breathing is your number one priority. If they're not breathing, then unless you step in and help them quickly, they are not going to survive. Then bleeding. Catastrophic bleeding is really important to deal with quickly. In a major incident, it may be that somebody has been stabbed or they have been blown up or they've been shot or something has happened like that, which can lead to major blood loss. And it may be major visible blood loss or it may be internal bleeding. If it is visible blood loss, then you need to try and stop that bleeding quickly.